Hello, everyone, and welcome to our April TechByte. Uh, hope everybody's doing well. Um, Please forgive me. I have a little bit of a head cold going on, so I may sound a little different, and I'm also drinking some hot tea to try to fight that. So hopefully that won't be too much of a distraction. Today, we're going to talk about a relatively new product slash solution at Checkpoint. Um, Part of our CTEM solution as a whole, but this will be just the one piece. Infinity Threat Exposure Management, which until recently was a company called Veriti that we went ahead and acquired. So I'm going to blow through these slides very quickly. Uh, Hopefully that will be okay. So, what's the actual issue here? Gartner says that 60% of security incidents are caused by misconfigured controls. These are controls we already own, right? Our firewalls, our endpoint products, our WAFs, and it's due to either they're misconfigured or something is left exposed for some reason. Um, Most enterprises run from 16 to 45 security tools, but each one is siloed, right? They don't talk to each other. They don't speak the same language even. So what happens? You get these endless alerts, you get these endless incidents, you get these false positives, you got these vulnerabilities you got to patch, and you're not sure where on the priority list that should be. And you get all these dashboards that tell you lots of fun, interesting stuff, but it doesn't lead to actual action, right? And that when you combine that with the fact that the attackers, through AI and whatever else, are moving faster than ever, your exposures and misconfigurations become that much more of a problem. Um, the other issue is who is actually responsible for remediation, right? Um, we may identify a problem, but who is the one that's actually going to take action and take care of it, right? And everything can't just be patched right away. So this is where Infinity Threat Exposure Management comes in. We help organizations move from discovery to safe remediation without disrupting the business. And we do that by connecting your entire stack. So here's the big thing, right? We start where you are. This product is entirely API based. We are not looking to rip out your existing stack, right? And you can see right over here in this little tiny icon that we have all sorts of different players in there, right? I think I see multiple Microsoft products. You have five. I see Cisco. I see CrowdStrike. Fortinet. They're all in there, right? Um, and we continuously assess your risk. We pull in the configurations, the security logs, the threat intelligence, the vulnerability findings. We cross-reference them between these tools we're hooked into. And then we prioritize them. We deduplicate all those alerts, right? So that you get one and focus on what's actually actionable, right? And we can use those compensating controls, etc. Like, for example, turn on an IPS protection or something to quickly act. We also validate before acting. This is one of the unique things about Veriti. Every vulnerability remediation goes through our machine learning engine. We catch false positives before they actually hit your production environment, which allows you to move fast without breaking anything. And finally, uh, we help you fix it, right? Like we said earlier, it's not enough to just identify that there's a vulnerability or misconfiguration. We need to go ahead and remediate that. And with just a click or two, you're able to do that. And we're going to see that in our demo in a few minutes here. And the three main ways we act is through virtual patching, right, by tightening existing controls, actual patching, right, where we actually go ahead and patch a specific vulnerability, and indicator compromise enforcement, right? So we block real IOCs. And remember, I know I keep saying it, but we're working across your entire stack. So it's not about Oh, it's a remediation to just your firewall or just your OS or just your WAF, right? It's all these things are working together to give us information and we make the updates on them. Um, so threat intelligence is only valuable if it leads to action, right? So in many cases, our intel, we get too much, different feeds, different formats, all these different tools feeding us information, but you don't know where to start. So we take all those feeds and we digest them, and then we cross correlate them. We deduplicate them and we validate them, right? And then we automatically propagate that. We enforce these indicators across your stack, on your endpoint product, on your firewall, etc. You already detect threats, right? Your tools are doing their job theoretically. They see something, they raise a flag. But what happens, right? That signal tends to just die in a silo. One tool knows it, the rest of the tools stay blind. Your response is slower than the attacker. Veriti detects the malicious activity. It ingests it, enriches with additional indicators of compromise related to this attack, but also to the attacker themselves, validates as if this is actually relevant to you, and propagates that insight. Right, here's the cross correlation, and propagates that insight over to those other tools. We continuously do this, right? We analyze continuously at scale networks, right? Security control hardening. So companies spend millions on security tools. Most of them are not configured correctly. Nobody's sure what is actually working. Everybody's kind of afraid to just touch anything because what if it breaks something that's in production? And half teams that have been polled admit that they're kind of drowning in false positives. Veriti tries to change that. We give you a living blueprint of your security posture. We tell you what's exposed, what's redundant, and what's important, and what is safe to change. So, to sum up, those tools that you have today tell you what's wrong, but you need a way to address it, to fix it, and to cross feed that information across multiple tools in your stack. Verity can do that. We all know that too much visibility creates saturation. We all know that too many alerts becomes the boy that cries wolf. We all know that risk scores are important, but they don't stop breaches. So action does. Proactive, safe remediation. You see on the bottom right there. That's where we're at. So I'll pause. I'll take a little sip of my tea, and I'll pause for a couple questions before we go to the demo. Okay. So let's kill the Excel or the PowerPoint. I mean, go ahead and fire up that demo environment. Hide this toolbar. That. Let's sign in. Okay. Okay. So this is Verity. Verity, our checkpoint exposure management, as I should be calling it, and not saying the old name. Um, just to kind of show you real quick, here we are. We land on the dashboard, right? We can see the general overview right from the start. So we can see things like, our security score is pretty good, how many insights it's found for us. We can click on any one of these to see the most critical ones, the medium ones, the high ones, the low ones, right? Um, we could click through these to get down lower in this map. So you can see like the security control gaps, for example, threats that we've been seeing in your environment, right? Vulnerabilities. You can see how this is all working out, right? Like which are exploitable and which are not, which are compensated controls are taken care of, right? So on. So good stuff here in the dashboard. I'm going to go right ahead because we don't have a ton of time. So um, first thing I want to look at is the insights. Oops, sorry. So here's a threat map. Click the wrong thing. Here's a threat map. This is actual attacks on your environment, right? So this is not, we've seen maps like this. Everybody's seen these maps. They're cool to look at, but usually they just show you a whole bunch of global stuff. This is actually an attack uh, map for your environment, which is neat. And you can learn about, attacking countries and what type of attacks, etc. I meant to click insights. So let's go ahead and see what kind of insights we have. So for example, this first one is a critical one. 8 hosts are vulnerable to this CVE, right? And you can see who reports it and the highlights. Here's the big thing. If you're gonna take anything away from this, I want you to see this and one more thing. The root cause of the issue is that the protection is in detect mode. So it's not going to prevent this exploitation. The remediation is to change that action to prevent, right? Sure enough. And your security posture will gain inside the tool based on doing that. Now we can go ahead and scroll down and you learn more about the CVE itself. And you can go ahead and see further down which machines are vulnerable, right? But here's the cool part, and also what asset is detecting this. In this case, it's the checkpoint gateway. Here's the cool part, right? We say, okay, we want we want to patch this. We can't have this vulnerability. Literally, we click remediate. It gives us this summary. So you can see right here, it's going after this principal or execution code, right? The affected target is the checkpoint RD1 gateway. The policy it's going to change is the standard policy and the strict profile. We can also see the exposed host if we want. Literally, all we have to do is click that remediate button we just saw and click this confirm button, and it will change the signature in the checkpoint to go ahead and prevent this IPS signature, not detect. That's pretty strong one there, I think. Let's go ahead and look at some other stuff. So let's find some false positives. So again, in insights, I'm gonna pop out the filter here. If we scroll down a little bit, you can filter in many different ways. You can look for a specific CVE, for example, or you can look at just critical ones. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to false positive detection. And we don't have a whole lot of them in this environment. Let's get rid of the filter there again. I want to see that this one has, okay, perfect. So here's one, false positive. This issue, right? We are blocking traffic that is showing up as malicious, but it is not malicious. It is benign, right? And so again, the remediation will be to exclude these specific connections, right? And you can see here, this is what's causing the false positive on one host and is potentially impacting business continuity. This machine can't contact whatever thing it has to contact. And you can see here in the logs when it keeps happening, right? And so we can see some of our source IPs and where it's actually trying to contact, learn about the CVE itself that it thinks it's seeing, but it's not. The assets, once again, to fix this false positive, we click the remediate button. It will show us it's going to make a change to that checkpoint gateway again, the standard policy, the strict profile. And if we click confirm, it will make that change and add these. It will add these IPs to be allowed to this destination. You'll see other ones here. For example, this one's on is that a Palo? Yeah, it's a Palo. So Palo Alto, right? Same thing, right? There's a different CVE, but again, benign traffic is being blocked, and the remediation is to exclude connections, right? And once more, it's going to go ahead and give us the action to, taking a second there, but it's going to give us the action to go ahead and put that into an exclusion, right, on these PAs. And I'll show you right here which firewall, which domain, which policy, which profile, etc. Um, the other piece we talked about, virtual patching, right? So let's go back to the insights. Let's filter once more. Let's clear all the filters we have. And then let's go ahead and look at protection activation. Here it is. So, okay, so here's the top one. We are not protected for this CVE. And the root cause is because in this machine, which as we see is a firepower, Cisco firepower machine, the protection is in inactive mode. And we need to change that action to at least detect, right? So we can detect these attacks. And again, we could read through about this CVE and all that. But once more, we click on remediate. We go ahead and we see the affected targets. We see the action that it's going to take, right? It's going to change this attack from inactive to detect. And with a click of confirm, it will do it. I hope you're noticing a pattern that when we spot a problem, instead of just sitting there and saying, boy, that sure is a problem, we have this fancy remediate button and we can go ahead and change that, uh, across different products, right? We just saw that Cisco Firepower. Here's a Palo Alto machine. Here's a Checkpoint gateway. You can see right on through, right? So, um, again, virtual patching, we're able to enforce the IPS signatures for multiple machines with just a few clicks. Well, I guess one of the last ones I'll show you is we're going to move over to the indicators. So what I kind of want to show you is you can see different attack indicators based on things like IP addresses, file hashes, domains, what have you. And by clicking on each one, you're going to see what's been found, right? Um, but we can also add either a specific indicator or a list through a CSV file by clicking this add button. And we can import additional indicators as needed if you guys have another intelligence feed. We also can go ahead and we subscribe to different intelligence feeds, which is here in the catalog, right? There's a bunch right here. You see, right? And you could click on a variety of these, right? Let's see, we got the checkpoint Tor nodes, right, which can be applied to these guys, right? Apollo, Fortinet, have you. There's a whole bunch of nodes, a growing, ever growing list. Um, yeah, we can see all the different indicators of compromise we see. The last thing I want to show in this short demo, we could definitely get a lot deeper on this, but in this short demo, I want to show here's the integrations that this product has out of the box, right? And these are the ones that this specific environment is tied to. This is the catalog. So as you can see, it is a wide variety of different products. AWS is WAF, there's Exonius with their cyber asset management, F5, SWAF, Carbon Black, Cisco's email, Cisco endpoint, there's Cisco Firepower, as we saw, CrowdStrike Falcon, we keep scrolling, Fortinet, FortiManager, um, Intune, Microsoft Defender, and Azure Firewalls and Sentinel. I mean, the list is 80 things long, right? We go right all the way on down to Zscaler, right? So with just a few clicks, you can go ahead and connect one of these products, whatever it is in your stack, and gain that insight into it, and also gain that collaborated information across all your tools. This is very much part of Checkpoint's open garden approach that we've been championing for a little while now. So with that, I'm going to take another sip of my tea, and I'll kind of pause because we're about finished for any questions. Any questions? Okay. One question. How does it hook up to these products? It hooks in with an API to all these, right? So and I obviously I know the checkpoint side a little better than a lot of these other ones. But it actually hooks in for us through the management API. I assume it's the same for most of these products that they have a management API, and then it's able to make changes based on scripting within the API. But it's a quick hookup, right? It doesn't you're not installing like an agent or anything like that, or changing your versions and stuff. Good question. Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody's time today. And thank you very much for checking this out. I hope this was interesting and useful and that you could perhaps see a use for checkpoint, uh, checkpoints, exposure management. Um, so appreciate you coming, and we'll be back next month with our next Tech Bite. And everybody have a great day.